So, Mick, I want to ask you about an important topic as we look ahead to 2024, and that is the idea of kind of annual or quarterly performance review cycles. And so, for folks who are currently in a job as an employee and looking to make the most of their next career conversation or their next performance review conversation, what are some ideas that you would encourage people to think about, some of the concepts that you like to work with?
Yeah. So what I believe is, and I you always use the comparison to being healthy and being sick as a person, right? If you are healthy, you don't value you being healthy and your healthy state. Usually, once you get sick, and it can be the easiest and simplest things, where you feel like, oh gosh, what would I give to be healthy again, right? And then you start to add appreciation towards your health. It's the same with being an employee. It can be in big tech, in corp, wherever you are. The longer you are at a place, the longer you are taken for granted. You are there. It doesn't matter how cool you are, how much value you add. You just being there and being visible for everybody and easily to reach somehow leads to the misception that your value is less. And you have to create a counterweight to that. And I think the simplest way to put it is, once you are in a company, you have an environment that you are very accustomed to. The environment is accustomed to you. You are known for something, and you have a comfort zone as well. You have to create a counterweight, a counter gravity to the gravity that you have as being employed at a certain company. And that comes by the market trying to get you off the company, right? That's the counter gravity, the counter force, the counterweight, however you want to call it. And that will create the state of the company seeing a certain risk of disease to lose you. Because every time you lose someone who is actually performing great at a company, it's really difficult to fill that gap, and it takes time to cure the wound that you have by someone leaving. And you want to make sure that you always have one foot dipped into the market. It doesn't mean that you're not loyal. It doesn't mean that you should leave by the first chance you get. That's not the case. You just want to have one foot at the pulse of the market to understand what your value is in a free market. And at the same time, that your employer understands what your actual market value is, because there's so much people trying to force you out of the company and be part of the organization because they see great value in you. That's, I think, the most simplest way, if you are a good to high performer, to ensure your performance and value is visible to all folks.
So it sounds like you're saying that we can actually not wait and do this all at once and make a big push, but rather stay in touch and in tune with what's happening with the broader market. And I love that, be always have one foot and always be dipping one toe outside, right? To also just see what the temperature is out there, what's happening in that market. And that's something that has helped me with some of my career decision points as well. So, Umed, I want to invite you to respond to that, and also how can we stay in touch with what's happening in the market and be developing our value even while we have busy weeks, and a lot of responsibilities at work.
Yeah, I love to. To Uwe's point, I want to slightly disagree. I do understand, and I know that me disagreeing comes from a very privileged position of having worked for people and companies where I do feel very valued, and having managers and skip level managers who value what I do, who make sure that I'm given stretch goals, that I have what I need to be interested. And what helped me, I can tell a story from myself, and maybe this will then resonate with the listeners. I always wanted to read more. right? Or I wanted to learn the drums. Those were two things that I wanted to do, but I never got around to it. And never getting around to it means I never prioritized it, right? So you have to. What I learned for myself, I have to put it in my schedule. I have to say, you know what, Monday, 7 p.m. are my drum lessons. And that's it. I have to stop working at 6 because I will walk to my lesson, decompress, right? That's what we learned. And
Yes.
I will walk there, give my brain time to decompress, maybe listen to a couple of songs that will play during the session just to get into the feel, into the groove of it. So that's one thing. You have to schedule it. And with the reading, it was the same thing. I wanted to read more, and just just finding ways to bring that into your routine, right? Because maybe you don't want to sit around and read, which I also like to do with the Kindle. It is a nice part of doing that in an easy way. But also, what I found for myself is what you can do. You can build your knowledge funnel. You can build ways to get there easily. You can watch learning courses. You can listen to Blinkist audio clips, which helps to, for me at least, to read books or gain the knowledge if I want to read them, and to get that. So schedule that, and then have the funnel set for what you want to learn, which ties back to what skills do you want to learn. So I have books on skills that I want to learn. I have learning courses that I found interesting with the skills I want to learn, and I have that as a cue. And then I can just figure out, do I want to listen to something? Do I want to watch a course? And the beauty of it is, at least for me, with both of these things that I use for myself, is it's not a huge time investment, right? A Blinkist you can listen to in 15 minutes, maybe, if if you do it like I do, and you have to 2x speed. But that's just work experience and listening to a lot of stuff that you get that in 2x speed. You do that in 7 minutes. So I have one book done in 7 minutes, right? And with the learning course, it's the same thing. If I can just go on a walk, I can decompress, maybe even do that while I'm going to the drum session, right? And just incorporate learning into your daily life. And the beauty of it, and then I will call it a day. The beauty of it is, if you have the curiosity, and this is a skill that the lifelong learner needs, right? You have to be curious, and then you will define and find new things to learn in everything that you do. Again, for example, with the drum lessons, if I go to the drum lessons, or I'm telling you, hey, I'm learning the drums, you would say, cool, he's learning drumming, right? It makes sense. But I'm learning so much more, and that is with the curiosity of it, with reflecting on the process of it. And that is that with drumming, I learned for myself, a huge learning is learning to fail in front of somebody. Having the drum teacher watch me and see me fail doing that drum fill is
Yeah.
horrific to me. It's horrible. But that is also, in the process of learning drumming, I'm learning that, and I'm learning to trust the process. And there's so much that I'm learning, and so much that I then can apply in my personal life, and that I can apply in professional life, to be resilient, to be more open to failure, to be able to fail and learn from that, because which is important, right? To have a growth mindset. And so just to summarize it, if you have that curiosity, if you schedule learning, if you make it a habit, you will learn so much, and then it will come easy to you. You just have to really prioritize it and say, that is it. 15 minutes I'm reading a book, 15 minutes I'm listening to a Blinkist, I'm watching a learning course, and then you build it from there.
I love the habit stacking that both of you do, right? Especially with how to incorporate walks with this sort of nurturing kind of learning or cultivation of a topic. And yeah, this habit stacking is just another really useful one. I recently used it to stack a kettlebell workout together with my creative kind of DJ practice. So I have my DJ equipment at home and I have my kettlebell at home. But I was noticing that some weeks would go by and I wouldn't use either one for an entire week. And I was like, hang on, this sucks. I'm not getting into my kettlebell routine, and I'm also not staying active, keeping the muscles fresh, because I do want to play live, and I need to play 60 minutes, 2 hours, even 4 hours live. So I set a goal to play at least 30 minutes a week and kettlebell twice a week. And it's so much easier now because I put those things together. Like the mat, the workout area is right where my DJ stand is, and then I also want to have some great
Nice.
music when I'm working out. It's like personal gym, you know. So I also treated myself to some new speakers, and I was like, let's enjoy, let's really sincerely, directly, consciously appreciate the new speakers, and then work that into a habit flow, habit routine. And I'm so much happier
Nice.
now that,
Totally
that I got
agree.
those back on track. I want to keep
Totally
it that way.
agree.
Nice.
I think I'd like to add to that. So while the micro organizations, how to learn and where to find time spots to do that and stuff like that is important. And again, Umin and I are very different. So I'll come again from a different perspective, and that I think that makes us such a comprehensive team as friends. I know to mold into the person I want to mold into, I have defined a certain path that I have to follow through in terms of developing myself and then leveling up to become ideally someone who can then support many lives going forward in the future, right? And I know my job as someone who's employed as well has certain seasonality. So I want to make sure that I use a low season or the quiet season to push as much data towards a new skill or topic that I need to learn, or multiple skills I need to learn to accomplish molding into the next level of the person I want to become. And for me, it's Q1. Q1 is probably the quieter part of the year. So in Q1, I have the top 10 books, top podcasts on a topic that I want to mold into in that year. For this year, it was about personal brand and coaching and building a pipeline on coaching, those three things. So I read the best books, top 10 best books on that topic. I didn't go into finance books or stuff like that. I've done that in years before. And this year is really about leveling up the coaching, bringing it to the bigger audience, becoming a better coach, and building a pipeline around it. Q2 is me engaging with top coaches in the market to use them as sparring partners as well as mentors. And Q3 and 4 for me is execution. And that's how I see the bigger picture of continuous learning, that you have to make sure that you have phases. And one phase is, and there's a very good example I want to break down. If you want to become a great swimmer, the worst bit of advice would be for you to jump into the pool every day and wreck in your swimming practice. You will have to break it down to the single movements and make sure that you improve on the single aspects of swimming, and then put it all together again and become a great swimmer in the water. And that is the same with continuous learning. You have to break it down to what kind of bits and pieces I have to learn to become the person I want to become, and then give yourself time to improve on the single bits and pieces, and then put it all together, and you'll be the person, and even better probably than you assumed you would like to become when you just started the journey of continuous improvement and self-development.